you guys couldn't hear me. Let me see, I'm getting some feedback. Okay. Let me. Okay, can you hear me okay? Let me know if you can hear me okay, because I'm getting feedback. Let's see. You know, whenever you go live, it, okay. Can you hear me okay now? If you can hear me, please let me know in the comments. Just go ahead and shoot me a note, send me some hearts. Let me know that you can hear me in the comments. I'm trying out a new mic, and it's been a minute. Thank you, Nancy. Hi there, by the way. Okay, is there still an echo now? Let me know if there's still an echo now. Let me know. And while people are doing that, echo gone. Fantastic. Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be back in the land of video and social and um, just the amazingness that we have the opportunity to bring from our experience and our learning. So welcome to the new format. This used to be called Girl Ask Me Anything. That's what this used to be called. And I decided that as I've been going through growth, I want to bring women along with me that want to grow. So I've changed the format. We've got a new look. We've got a new feel. We're always going to be grateful. As you guys can see my gratitude sign back there, be grateful. And I am so grateful to be here tonight. So if this is your first time joining me, please jump in the comments. Please say hello. I would love to know where in the world you are joining me from. In addition, I'm going to go ahead and copy this and let folks know that I am live. There we go. Excuse me. And of course, my dog is barking in the background. So, okay, excuse me. So, yeah, when we go live, you know, all kinds of things happen. But welcome. Thank you so much for joining me tonight on Grow with Dezi. Of course, those of you guys that know me, I am Dezi, and I am a leadership coach and mentor. Um, and I am just really excited to finally be back here on social and doing Facebook Lives. Excuse me just for a second, I've got a cough. Okay, wanted to make sure that I wasn't coughing in your ears. I'm blowing you out. So I'm really glad to be here tonight. Thank you, those of you that have joined me. Thank you for those of you that are watching in the replay. It's been a minute. I don't think I have done an actual teaching lesson on Facebook Live in, gosh, months. I would easily say since last year, towards the end of last year, in fourth quarter sometime, and just have had a lot of things going on. Dealing with some health stuff, dealing with asking myself some really important questions on what I wanted to do going forward with just what I'm bringing to the world, my business, my platform, what I wanted to share. So just had to really just go deep and ask myself some questions. And so I am really excited to be here tonight. I am your coach and mentor as we go on this journey. So I thought that was pretty cool. What do you think? Anyway, if you are just joining me for the first time, please say hello. Please let me know where in the world that you are joining me from. The purpose of this program, Grow with Dezi, is to help women professionals and entrepreneurs discover their infinite potential to develop their strength and to design their success their way, helping you turn failure into success by helping you develop a fearless mindset. Now, that sounds just all do 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 or, you know, whatever. But it is possible to have a fearless mindset. And as I shared earlier, I was going through the process late last year, early into this year of really asking myself some really tough questions on what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be. We've had some really awesome things happen for us as a family that I'm excited about, and so yeah, that's just where I've been. And so to have this new platform that I'm focusing on, I'm really excited about that. And to all of you who have downloaded my very first ebook, thank you, thank you, thank you. I was just really super excited to get that out there, just to give you guys something of value when it comes to fear and success and burnout and the way that we think. I just thought that was really critical that we have a tool, something that you guys can just, grab a hold of and go through just to give yourself some pointers and reminder of what fear is, what it's not, and how you can shift yourself from looking at failure and looking at success and who you need to be in order to have and create the success that you want in your life and in your business. So, super excited about that. So, thank you so much. If you have not had an opportunity to download it, I will put that in the comments below right now. As a matter of fact, let me do that now. And you will be able to download a copy for yourself. And if you want to share it with anyone that you believe it could benefit, please feel free. Please feel free. Would love to just get the message out and just know that you've got a tool and a resource that you can turn to and use. But tonight's topic is think. And before I actually get into it, I needed to play this. So just to uh, get us into the mood. How about that? Let's see here. Let's see. Hopefully you guys can hear it. Hang on, let's see. Oh man, everything happens when you're going live. Anyway, I just thought, maybe it could be really great for us to hear. I can't hear, so if you guys can hear it, I hope I hope you guys can hear it. Anyway, oh my goodness, how much fun is that? How much fun is that? Okay, well, let's just go ahead and get into it. Let's get into why we're here tonight. And earlier this week, I created a post and I said that the chief reason that 95% of people are working for the other 5% is that 95% do not know how to think. Now, I still work full time, and um, when I read this, it kind of hurt. It really kind of pinched because I consider myself someone who thinks and someone who's logical, but it's crazy. The chief reason that 95% of people working are working for the other 5% because those 95% do not know how to think. So here's a fact. Here I'm going to share with you guys some facts. For those of us who are in corporate or are professionals or entrepreneur, I want you to be very, very clear about something. You cannot grind your way to success. Okay? You cannot grind your way to success without having a fearless thought life. You will burn out. I don't care if you're in business. I don't care if you are in the corporate sector. I don't care if you are in ministry. If you do not have a fearless thought life, you will burn out. You will burn out. There's a lot of different reasons why people burn out, but the main definition of burnout is exposure to high levels of stress for an extended period of time. Now, whether that comes from your background or from the job or what have you, it is not something that is sustainable, and you cannot grind your way to success. How many people have you seen? How many women have you seen that have totally tapped themselves out because they were just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and they felt like they were just overworking themselves? And as a matter of fact, they were. I was doing some research earlier, and one of the things that I found was that there are some top professions of folks that experience burnout. Those top professions with the highest degree of burnout, in order, are surgeons, physicians, nurses, social workers, teachers, public police officers, and there were like probably another 4 or 5. Now, those are professional titles, but they also had jobs on there that weren't as professional, like fast food workers or retail. So some of the top professions with the highest degrees of burnout. Now, this is important to Fearless Mindset. I'm getting somewhere with this. Now, the most stressed out generation ever, millennials. Millennials are experiencing burnout in an alarming rate. The top 3 jobs with the most burnout of millennials are jobs in journalism. 62% of women are uncertain about the future of their career in journalism. Women that work in the academic STEM careers, specifically university science departments, due to discrimination and things of that nature, burnout. And then women that are in medicine due to maternal discrimination. That was one of the reasons that the article gave. It was in Money magazine, or money.com online, and it indicated that it was due to maternal discrimination. So I thought that was kind of crazy. And millennials are burning out before the age of 30. Before the age of 30. Now, when we go to school, and I know that it's shifting now because the nature of our education system and things are just really changing, and there's a huge need for people to go into the trade fields. Huge need for employees in that space. But let me ask you a question. What kind of thoughts are these people that are in these high burnout careers, professions, industries, what kind of thoughts are they living or surviving with? Let's just think about that for a minute. What kind of thoughts? So if we start there, how would you define thought? Tonight's going to be it's going to be a thinking conversation. I'm sharing with you thinking, and we're going to be thinking. And this is probably the most difficult thing to teach on, is how to think. But just, humor me for a minute, right? How would you define thought? Well, I'm going to tell you, thought is the beginning of everything that we create, whether it's tangible or intangible. What does that mean? What we think creates something, whether it is something physical that we can touch or feel, or it creates something that's intangible, which is an experience, an environment. It will create something, and it is the beginning of everything that we create. So let's step it a little bit further. The success that you are looking for in your life, whether it is for, in your relationship with God, in your faith, in your family, in your finances, your money, your wealth, your debt, in friendships, in your fitness and your health, in the fun that you have and the choices that you make of what type of fun to engage in, or in your future. The success that you want out of life depends on the way that you think. A lot of times we think that, okay, it's what we do, it's what we do, it's what we do. Okay, well, I'm going to go and I'm going to study this and I'm going to go get this certification and I'm going to push my way to go and get this and that. And if I just work harder and do harder and grind harder, we truly believe, and I say we because I'm including myself. When I say grow with Dezi, that's a real thing, y'all, because I believe that we are on a journey together. And anybody that calls himself an expert, if they're just spewing out facts to you without sharing from a real life perspective, I would throw up some flags and ask some questions. And I challenge you to do the same. The success that we want in any of those areas of our life depends on the thoughts that we think. It truly depends on the thoughts that we think. So, can we, for those of you that are joining me live, I see that we've got some other folks on. I see, hey, Dane, thank you so much. My auntie, Ana, gracias. Gracias, gracias. Um, Ken Stagg, hello, my friend. Glynis, hello, my friend. Thank you so much for joining me. Please, if you guys would show me some love, share this, you know, throw some hearts up there, tag a friend. Just show me some love. I'd appreciate it if you would. Okay, back to what I was talking about. So let's see if we can agree on something. Okay, I'm going to give you a statement, and I want to see. Let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree. Our success will depend upon the extent that the thought that goes into our success is true. I'm going to say that again. Our success will depend upon the extent that the thought that goes into our success, or the thoughts that go into our success, is true. Do you agree, yes or no? And if you agree, tell me why. Or if you don't agree, tell me why. For those of you that are watching this on the replay, put your comments below. I want to know what you think. Let me see here. See what comments are there. What do you think? Does your success depend upon the extent that goes into the thoughts that you think? Let me know in the comments below. Obviously, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say absolutely. The way that we think about things is what happens in our lives. And I am very clear that success is relative to everyone. Your perspective of success it may be different from my perspective of success. So it is definitely relative. Okay, let's see here. Let me turn this overlay off. And I got some comments here. Nancy says she agrees. We can only go as far as we believe in ourselves. Absolutely, Nancy. The thoughts that we think about our belief in ourselves will indicate the distance that we can go. True that. True that. As other people comment, I'll go ahead and throw you guys up on the screen. So if our success is dependent upon our thoughts, then why is it that most people are more motivated to avoid failure than to achieve success? Why is that? Why are we more motivated to avoid failure than we are to achieve success. I want to share with you guys a personal story. Some of you who have followed me over the past couple of years, I guess it's been, um, that I've been doing Facebook lives. You may have heard the story. You may have not, but I'm going to share it anyway. So back in 2014, after a lot of different things that have happened, major life events that have happened in my life, I launched my business and came up with the idea to host my first Christian women's conference. It was the first like big business thing that I was going to do. I was energized by it. It was successful. We had a huge turnout. The women that attended, they loved it. I was having people ask me, okay, when are you going to do another one? When are you going to do another one? Oh my gosh, this was, so great. It just, it was successful. For all intents and purposes, you came, there was tons of people, the speakers were great, music was great, topics were great, and we had a good time. Everyone left there fulfilled and satisfied. Well, shortly after that, I went into a deep, 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 and very dark and depressing place. Went into a deep depression. And why is up until that point, I had major life issues that, I continued to keep myself busy. Now, I can look back at it now, but I continued to keep myself busy so to cover up the hurt and pain that I was internally experiencing. On the outside, I'm grinding. On the outside, I'm killing it at work. On the outside, I'm doing great with my kids. On the outside, all of these things that would lead the population to think, hey, all is well. She's doing great things. Wow, wow, wow. Um, but, they were there externally. They were there. And I learned I learned how to put my Superwoman cape on. Oh, and honey, I look good in the Superwoman cape. I just got to tell you that. I mean, I learned how to do it, and I learned how to do it well. Failure was not an option. You work your tail off. We don't work hard to fail, we work hard to win. And so that's just the place that I went into. And I operated in that space for a long time, for a very long time. And what I realized was that I was dealing with the fear of success. So the fear, the success, the fear of it, the responsibility that came behind it, the what if questions that came behind it, um, you know, if I did it again, who's watching, who's judging, could I do it again? Could I do it again? Could we do it again? Would I fail? Would it flop? Um, there were a lot of just thoughts that were rummaging through me. And gosh, when you go and do something and the next thing you know, you see someone else doing it, and then you're like this in this ocean, um, as they call it, the red ocean, where everyone is in there and everyone's competing and, kind of doing what everyone else did. Folks copying you, the imitators, the knockoffs, then you're trying to keep your ideas to yourself. I mean, it was just a hot mess. I can look back at it now and say that it was a hot mess, but that's where I was. And it took me 2 years. It took me 2 years before I was able to do it again, to do another conference again, to step out again. It took 2 years before I did it again. And one of the major lessons that I learned was that, as I look back at it now, evaluated experience is the best teacher. It's the best teacher. But the thoughts that brought me up until that point in my life were not what I needed to have to bring me where I am today. So what I'm saying is the thoughts that have brought you to this point today are not the thoughts that you need to have if you plan on achieving whatever goal you have, whatever the goal is. It is not going to bring you where you want to go. So just for kicks and giggles, let's do a quiz. I'm going to give you just 3 questions. It's the easiest quiz that you can possibly ever do, and I want to see what your answers are. So here's question number 1. What is an example of a typical roadblock to achieving your goal? A, no time to enjoy the simple things in life. B, lack of confidence. C, the freezer died and all the ice cream melted. Or D, a list of goals. What is an example of a typical roadblock to achieving a goal? Question number 2. Being afraid of something is a good reason to avoid it. True or false? A, true, B, false. Being afraid of something is a good reason to avoid it. True or false? And the last question is, if your life is in turmoil, which is likely the cause? A, a lack of income. B, a lack of emotional support. C, poor decision making in the past. D, a poor attitude. Say those one more time. If your life is in turmoil, which is likely the cause? A, a lack of income. B, a lack of emotional support. C, poor decision making in the past. Or D, a poor attitude. So if you're joining me live, welcome to Grow with Dezi. This is my weekly learning series where I'm helping women in business and in ministry discover their infinite potential, develop their strength, and design their success their way. So I'm talking about thinking, and this is probably one of the hardest things to teach on, but hey, what the heck? We might as well just jump into it, because if we learn how to think, we can change the trajectory of our success in our lives and the generations to come. Just something to think about. So the answer to the first question, what is an example of a typical roadblock? The answer is B, typical roadblock to achieving a goal. The answer is B, a lack of confidence. Question number 2, being afraid of something is a good reason to avoid it. True or false? The answer is false. Being afraid of something is not a good reason to avoid it. I would even go as far as to say is that if you're afraid of it, you need to understand why, and you need to learn by doing. Number 3, if your life is in turmoil, which is the likely cause? A, lack of income. B, lack of emotional support. C, poor decision making in the past. Or D, a poor attitude. The answer is a poor decision making in the past. How we think about things and how we think creates what we experience, both tangibly and intangibly. So let's get real, okay? Failing, for all intent and purposes, failing sucks. It does. The feeling behind it, the emotions behind it, it sucks. And why does it suck? Why do you think failing sucks? Or why, if you have failed, why have you felt sucky? Why have you felt like, oh my gosh, and the thoughts that come up with that failure? What? Yeah, okay, so I'm going to get a little bit graphic here, so just work with me. What stinking thinking have you been nursing like you nursed your baby? that you gave sustenance to, and that you provided life, like a life source to. What stinking thinking have you been nursing like you nursed your baby? What thoughts have you been nursing that did not start with you, but were given to you by someone else, that were put on you by someone else? Have you been nursing those like you nursed your newborn? The emotions that we build up around thoughts, become, that's what makes the thoughts to become permanent fixtures inside of us. And see, you know what? When someone else, if you didn't catch my post from earlier today, when I talked about, finding the people that are for you, that are right for you, when you nurse the thoughts that come, whether you're thinking them on your own or whether someone else has placed them on you and you have now adopted them as a part of who you are and you've grown them, you are growing them into permanent things that will become things in your life. And here's the crazy thing about thoughts. Because when you least expected, I knew that I had my stuff together. I knew that I did. I knew that I was excelling on the job. I knew that I was killing it as a mom, as a single mom at that. I knew that I had defeated so many odds. I knew it. I knew that my launch into the business world was successful. Right off the bat, I knew it. But honey, let me tell you something. That high that I ran off of adrenaline for, of thinking that, I'm strong, I've got it all together. When it all came crashing down, the voice that I heard sounded a lot like mine. It sounded a lot like mine. You spend 100% of your time with you, listening to thoughts that you have created on your own or you have taken in from your environment, people that you love, people that you don't love so much, TV, social media, all kinds of stuff. This is crazy. So, with all the stuff that's been happening here in LA, and I I don't watch the news. I intentionally do not watch the news on a regular because it's crazy. It's crazy. I love social media. I'm on social media a lot, and it takes, my finger is just sliding because there's so much negativity and so much stuff, and, people that you don't think are like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. So I heard about all the stuff that was going on in LA. I've got a girlfriend that works down in that area as a teacher, and I'm trying to hear like what's happening and why. And then I heard about this huge riot. So I'm there. I'm watching this stuff. I'm watching it, and my heart's breaking. My son and I were talking about it. My heart's breaking, and it's like, okay, but we got to keep moving forward. I know that intellectually, I know logically, I've got to keep my space what I need it to be. I've got to keep my mind where I need it to be. So I go to bed that night, and I had, oh, hi, Shanella. Thank you. Hey, joining from Curacao. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to see you here, honey. I appreciate you joining me tonight. So I go to bed that night, and Monday night, or whenever this happened, yeah, on the Monday or Sunday. Anyway, it happened this week. So I go to bed that night, and I have the most horrific dream. It was chaos. It was just it was scary. And when I got up that morning, I was completely unsettled inside of me, and I knew that it was because I broke my own rule of placing myself in where I could be influenced by the ugly, the negativity, the crazy, the craziness, excuse me. It wasn't, I didn't eat anything late. You know how they say, okay, well, don't eat anything late because you're going to have bad dreams. No, I consumed something that was not good for me in here. And as a result, I had a terrible, terrible dream. Our minds will function on the material that we give it. And when it comes to failure, when it comes to how we see failure, when it comes to the thoughts that we think surrounding failure and everything else about it, our bodies will physically, and I don't like this word too much, but it works for this scenario. It will physically manifest. It'll physically create exactly what I put into it. I put in the stuff that I saw on the news, and I got the output of a terrible dream and an unsettled heart, an unsettled spirit. My mentor says that growth doesn't just happen. It doesn't just happen because I want it to happen. This growth experience has been a 2-year plus journey, and it continues to be a process and a journey of work, of intentional work, of learning to shift my mindset. It happens for me, it happens for you. And when it comes to the work, the intentional work that has to be done, it is a learn by doing. It is a learn by doing, being intentional about the way that we think, being intentional about the way that we think, being intentional about the way that we think. You guys get my point? If this is making sense, please give me some thumbs up, post the comments in the chat. Let me know. It might be a lot to take in, but it's okay. It's okay because we need an army of people who are intentional about growth and intentional about being good influencers and being good leaders. Period. 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 And that's my mission, to help that just do my part. Do my part. Your mind functions with the thought material we give it. It will not discriminate. It's an equal opportunity employer. What we put in it through our emotions, how we feel about something, it'll show up in our lives tangibly and intangibly. It'll show up in your profession. I mentioned all the different professions that are experiencing burnout, the women that are experiencing burnout, the millennials before 30 that are experiencing burnout. It'll show up tangibly, intangibly. It becomes, Napoleon Hill said, thoughts are things. That is so incredibly true. So, as I wrap up tonight, I'm just really incredibly grateful that you guys took the time out to join me on my relaunch. Join me on my relaunch of and this new platform, and I want you to come grow with me. And I want you to help you to take failure and turn it into success by developing a fearless mindset. And it starts with what we think. It starts with what we think. And from there, we can, if we think the right thoughts, in the Bible it says, do not conform, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Renewing of your mind. Up until this point, if you were unaware of what you've been thinking about and seeing, you can look back at your experience and you can see, okay, well, if I do some evaluation, what thoughts were I thinking as I was, or how did I get into this situation? What thoughts consumed me? What influences consumed me to where I fear? What are those things? And if you have a vision of your future and what you want your future to look like and what success looks like for you, what thoughts do you need to have? Because I'm here to help you get the how to have those thoughts so that you can have a fearless mindset. So as we join here together weekly, I went a little longer than I intended to, but it's okay. It's okay. You can catch it on the replay, chop it up, get what you need. And if you don't need it, set it to the side. But if this has been meaningful and valuable to you, I ask that you just show some love and share this so that there are other women that are out there that need what I've shared tonight, and then they can get it. Now, if you have not had an opportunity to download my ebook, Think Your Way Fearless, you can do so. I'm going to go ahead and put that up on the thinkyourwayfearless.com. I'm going to go ahead and put that up on our page here. You can go to Think Your Way Fearless, and you can get a copy of my ebook. It's a really easy read. It may sound very, very simple, some of the steps and the principles that are in there, but you know what? It's the easiest things that trip us up. I'm just saying. So, again, thank you for joining me tonight. Grow with me on this journey. Let's go hand in hand and let's make a difference and create the life that we desire to have, full of joy, full of success, and full of gratitude. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you again next week. Have a good night.